how I really contribute to the Enneagram, as well as how I have become very passionate about it, is that the recognition that the somatic, which is another word for body, the somatic patterning that underlies the character structures is probably the pivotal point at which we can access the parts of us that go against or contract against the life force or against change. The way that we are organized, I believe, is that we are repeating, our patterns based on a familiarity in the central nervous system that has been conditioned to repeat what was successful before. And therefore, the central nervous system likes repetition. And so the adaptive strategies, as we have very well recognized them through the Enneagram model, they have a very difficult access point for real change, because the automatic patterning that is in the central nervous system is biased towards, keeping things the same. And the fear of the unknown and the fear of what else might happen, seems to keep us and wants to keep us, continuing the same adaptive automatic patterning. So therefore I think the body part, or the central nervous system conditioning, to really learn how to access that through what I would call felt sense, being able to really include the world of sensations and the sensory way that we organize ourselves, is a direct access point to real transformation and change. When we learn about our types at first and learn a lot about how the behavior works, and then we learn about the emotional driving forces of our types, and then we finally come down to what is it in our types that we avoid, that doesn't allow us to have a part of our whole selves in the particular screen that we do not even really recognize is there. So through including the avoidance of the type, learning what it feels like, what happens in our body when that particular part of life actually comes on the screen, and how we defend against it, is actually so successful that we don't even recognize that the avoidance is operating. So again, through the somatic awareness process that we have developed, we can actually get into the parts of ourselves that begin to take us away from our essential states. It's through including what we avoid that we are able to open up to a more holistic or a whole experience of who we truly are. So I would like to elaborate a little bit on how the somatic awareness process can really help change, or help it facilitate change. And that is by, for instance, a negative emotion that we avoid is anger or fear or deep grief, which are difficult emotions to stay present to. So the somatic awareness process is able to teach a person how to just simply stay present with an energy in their body that is elicited by, for instance, anger. And then the participant or the person on the panel will be encouraged to just simply learn how to stay a little bit longer and make space for the emotion anger. And how, when you stay connected with the emotion itself, how it simply begins to move on its own. And the liberation that happens after having that experience of, oh, that wasn't so bad after all. I could actually stay with this anger and be at the point of contact of my suffering, and being facilitated to stay with it long enough so that the energy actually completes itself. And it simply leaves the body and it transforms into something else that then comes into being. And that might be a deep sense of compassion, or a great clarity, or an essential quality that then begins to move. And the reason why that happens is that the energy that is lodged in the emotion itself is the very same energy as the energy of the essential quality. There is really no difference. The only difference is that the energy held hostage and blocked off becomes available for the movement itself, and the life force begins to move again, and all of a sudden now the essential qualities come into being.